All right, we're back. This would be part 4 of this series. Long busy day here today, August. Anyway, back InStar Alliance, and why we do with this? Because it's election day tomorrow. The Democratic Convention is tomorrow, and we want to create our own election information. Why is this important? Why do we want to understand why politics affects investing? Because we want to understand the environment that we're in. It's very important we understand that. Our lives depend on it. We have to understand these things. Okay? So that's why we're covering this. Anyway, we talked about in the first part just an overview with China. The second part we talked about was different viruses and stuff that they had. And then the third part we're starting to transition into how our country has been reacting to it. And how Trump's leadership has gotten us to this position. Again, let's go over his benefits in his behalf. The first benefit since he's been president, he's made up a pretty good relationship with Putin overall, over than some of the other presidents. He was able to undo the debacle that was caused by Bush. And again, I want to make a point here that I happen to be a conservative, Republican, evangelistic type person, okay? But these things need to be discussed because they're out of control. Like I said, I can take this camera outside right now and you will see in front of my home here in Virginia. I don't know about my Texas home. I'm assuming so anyway. In the business that we have down there. But I want to say probably, since Texas is hotter than Virginia, that I'm sure I'll find some people wearing masks if I walked outside there too. This pandemic's real, okay? We wanted to cut a answer what's happening. I'm giving it to you. So, in his behalf, okay, like I said, Bush, he had his own goals. We had problems with these Republican presidents, the last two, Bush being the last one, as well as Trump. They have their own agendas. Bush's agenda was to get with Cheney, go ahead, set up Halliburton, get as much control over that Iraqi oil and make some money out of it, turn it into Bush oil. He did it. Okay, it created ISIS. Okay, basically, and then Obama ignored him, so they got bad. So a benefit that has been from Trump has been that with Putin's help, I give Putin 60% credit for that though, so I guess we're giving this to Putin then. Getting containment of ISIS so we can get on international flights, even though they're all closed because of the pandemic right now. As I'm broadcasting this in August, at least, U.S. being such a hot zone, you can't fly to Europe and you get quarantined for 14 days in London, which is where I'm supposed to be going on vacation from last May. But anyway, enough of my ranting on that. The second one was a partial achievement of the Southern Wall in his fight to control immigration. It was more of a failure though, because he only ended up getting $5 billion. He held out from his conservative base thinking he could do something with DACA. In the end, they end up staying, and then he eats 15 of the 20 billion. So I would say an achievement of that, he got 25% credit for that and a 75% loss, but still an achievement. The next achievement is the U.S. Air Force. The U.S. Air Force, I have to give it more for Pence because he put Pence in front of it. But we are back in space again, thanks to Elon Musk's efforts. So that's an achievement. Something hadn't been done almost 20 years, man. Yay! Elon, you're a genius. Okay. So Trump gets 35% for that. Pence gets 25%. And who gets all the rest? Of course, Elon Musk. Okay. Renegotiated trade with Mexico and Canada in the NAFTA agreement. We didn't do that bad on that one. Finally, Pelosi pushed it through, and he gets 75% of credit for that. And then 25% still goes to, Nancy Pelosi, because they got that done. That's a good thing. I think we have a better trade agreement. I mean, I'm happy with that. bring awareness towards our European allies, and he put them on notice. He put NATO and all of them on notice. Said, hey, you know, you need to cover some of your own slack. I think he did a good job with that. I think that they have to realize they can't be mooching off of us forever. So that might be another big 75% for him and 25% for Congress backing him, I guess, Nancy Pelosi. And then the bonus here was his daughter. That's his greatest achievement. Obviously, 70% goes to the mom and 30% goes to him because she's the one who made her. But she's a jewel. She's just brilliant. She's brilliant. Beauty. I can't find anything absolutely wrong. I mean, she's running his empire. Like I said, if he wanted to get something really done, I think she would have made a much better statesman than he have with President Xi. I think President Xi would have respected her more. That's my opinion. But let's move over to the other one here. Okay, we've talked about what they did achieve. Okay, let's talk about what we didn't achieve. Okay. Whew. All right, here we go. In summary, no other president went after China like the U.S. did, and they retaliated with their international flights remaining open. Even if we only prosecuted them on their telecommunications that they've been trying to steal from, I guess, Apple and other places, the trade war was upside down in Trump's mind. As long as they popped up our government by loaning us money to cover our service interest debt on the $165 trillion the U.S. government is really in for, not the $20 trillion that the fake media talks about only, ignoring the payouts of undisclosed commitments of the 401k, and I discussed that earlier. That was a failure. Okay, leave China alone. Okay, they're not playing here. Okay, they created a pandemic on us because of this. Okay, if Trump wasn't in office, if Cruz had been in office, we wouldn't be in this mess. Okay, can he get us out of it? Of course he can. He has no control over that virus. He just created it. Like Bush, the pandemic was created globally with the global fallout because of our toxic relationship with China. I gave credit 60% to Trump on that one and 20% to Pelosi, impeding our ability in January to prepare for the pandemic and not writing the legislation to curtail Trump's actions. In other words, he went wild. He went buck wild with China, and now look what mess we're in right now. We're looking at least 5 to 7 years of economic bailout before we even get anywhere near where we're at before. We're looking at least 2 years right now of wearing masks. Probably 2 years, because it takes a while to build this, vaccines. And our results on our tracking is showing that we're doing horribly as compared to any other country on the planet. I guess we got what we deserve putting Trump in office. That's what the Chinese are saying, and I agree with them. China was propping up this country, basically, because we have so much debt. Again, I asked you earlier, you needed to study the Anthony Davis video on YouTube, 10 Myths About the Government Debt. You need to have studied that by now. I've been preaching it for I don't know how long since these videos have been up. So you needed to study that. If you don't, then you need to look at it because you don't know what I'm talking about, okay? Failure to acknowledge his law and order status and ignoring the rights on the Floyd matter. Basically what I mean is a real president would step up and say, hey, we need to curtail all these violent protests and everything. He did some things, but, he did very, very little. Whoa, we hit a time flag. All right, well, I'm still going with this. Failure to attempt to be a statesman and at least try to compromise for the benefit of both countries with a foreign government. I mean, this is what politics do. This is what people do in politics. Is they look, okay, what does this country want? What do we want? Let's try to meet in the middle. There's no middle with this man. I mean, his art of his deal is win, 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 and win. You can't win, 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 and win all the time. This is what happens. You end up with a pandemic. Okay? Super negative attitude towards working with anybody who disagrees with him in Congress, be it the Democratic, Republican, or Independent parties, Insulting people creates endless enemies, and very little legislation will ever get done. They wouldn't have lost the. They probably would not have lost their control over the House if he wasn't so hard to work with. And so many Republicans says, you know what, I don't need this. I'm already wealthy, and I can respect that. Being wealthy myself, sometimes you just roll over in the morning and say, why did you do it? I do it because I want to help people, okay? And I think somewhere along the line, those Republicans got battered down by him so badly that they just said, oh, the heck with this. And probably the same thing is a good shot this might happen for the Senate as well. If, again, I can't jump in a time machine and go backwards in time, but, let's say if a better statesman like, say, Cruz had been in office, then this probably wouldn't have happened. Would this have happened with Hillary? I think we'd still have ISIS, but probably, no, we wouldn't have had this. I don't think any president other than President Bush we would have gotten this pandemic because of how he's handling these people. You got to back off of them. I mean, they got a big pandemic stick. They ain't playing. And we're going to be sick for a long time. So it's make America sick. To make America broke and make the world broke. That should be his quota for this 2020 election. And I'm a Republican, so something's wrong with this picture here, okay? In conclusion, since the better man in the league, who would have been Ted Cruz, was forced out, Biden will have to come in and clean up his mess. Yeah, I'm afraid he will. I can't see any other way around it. In the end, it came all on Trump's neck that created this pandemic, without question in my mind. None whatsoever. I think a lot of people realize this. When I'm looking at it today, I got an article here today, and they're worrying about, how they're going to go ahead and be able to do these in-mail. They're going to be probably a nightmare. These in-mail casted votes. They're probably going to be a nightmare, but we'll see how it goes. Anyways, I think this covers our economic stuff pretty well, and let's move on to the other section that we're going to work with. Talk with you in a little bit. I think you're done, man.